Canto 3rd chapter 20th verse. These authorities are Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapila, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali, Vayasaki or Sukadeva Goswami, and Yamaraj. The impersonalists who generally worship Lord Shiva should learn of the transcendental Satchitananda Vigraha of the Lord. Here, Lord Shiva kindly describes the details of the Lord's bodily features. Thus, the impersonalist argument that Lord has no form cannot be accepted under any circumstance. So, this is the verse, 51st verse. Well, let's just we'll read the meaning of the verse once. So we'll read Shyama means black, the blackish complexion, and Shroni lower part. So here in Rudra Gita we are in actually part 2. I'll just describe those parts where Shiva is explaining the lower part of the body of the Lord and glorifying how beautiful it is. So the lower part of the body is waist is especially waist is dark and covered with Swarna Mekalam. That's a golden belt. You can see Swarna means golden, Mekalam means belt. The lower part is covered with the golden belt, and Sama means equal. Charva Angri means lotus feet. So it's like symmetrical. Both the feet are symmetrical, and Janga cows. So what is cows here? Cows means from the knee till to the ankle. The back part of the body, back part of this is called as cows. I was checking what is the meaning. So Janga means that part between knees to the ankle, the back part of it, that is called as cows. So and thighs, explained about thighs. So the lower part of the body is he's saying Sudarshanam, so very, very beautiful. So the knees, the thighs, and the waist, golden, the garments, yellow garments, and the belt. So the part is so beautiful. So this was the meaning of the verse. Shiva is glorifying the Lord's lower part of the body to Prachetas. So just that is the starting. Just for myself, I mean, as I was not attending very regularly, I was hearing Bhagavatam classes here and there. So I just want to again, just myself, just maybe a few minutes will just see the context where we are and what we are discussing. So we know we're discussing the 4th canto, and in this canto we know from Prithu Maharaj will start. So Prithu Maharaj and wife Archi have the son Vijitaswa, is also called as Antardana, and he has wife Shikandani, and they have 3 sons, and they are incarnations of demigods of fire. And also Prithu Maharaj have another wife called Nabaswati, and son name is Havirdana. They have a son called Havirdana, and Havirdana have 6 sons. In 6 sons, first son name is Barishat, and there are 5 more sons. And Barishat and Satadruti, they have 10 sons. They are blessed with 10 sons, and they are called as Prachetas. And Prachetas were ordered by their father, Barishat, and he asked them to populate. So they left the home and they went for performing austerities. So when they went for the austerities, they could see from the lake Lord Shiva appears, and Lord Shiva, out of his own mercy, came to instruct them, and instructed them about Supreme Personality Godhead, and they performed as it is what was told by Lord Shiva, Rudra Gita, for 10,000 years under the water, and they become perfected. So that was the context what we are discussing. And just to see like verse wise where we are currently. So first 15 verses are genealogical line of Prithu Maharaj, as what we have seen now, and then 16 to 32 is what Prachetas meet Lord Shiva, like how they are passing through, and they could see the fresh lake and nice trees around, nice flowers, so pleasant atmosphere where from the nice music they could hear, and Lord Shiva is coming out with all his associates. That's where they meet Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva, out of his own mercy, he came, and he was, out of compassion, he was instructing Prachetas. So that is called as Rudra Gita, and it is of 4 parts, 33 to 68 verses. Like first part is 33 to 43 is how Lord Shiva is offering obeisances to Chaturvyuha and presenting deities for purification, purifying of both internal and external senses. That is the first part. So 33 to 43 verses. So maybe we all heard. I was also hearing these lectures. So very nicely it was explained the meaning, like how we can meditate on the quadruple expansion, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, like purifying our consciousness, purifying our false ego, purifying our intelligence, purifying our mind, So Shiva was helping them to praying them to help them to purify so that they can dedicate them completely to supreme personality of Godhead. So that is the first part of the prayers. The second part of the prayers is about seeing and serving the Lord's glorious form. So once purified, then he wants to is seeing the form and is glorifying the Lord's form. How beautiful it is. That is the next part, 44 to 52 verses. Currently, we are reading now today 51 and 52. Other verses like Shiva started glorifying from the Lord's beautiful lotus face and then coming down to waist, abdomen, and then to waist, and then to the lotus feet and the lower part of the body. So I heard that this was the prayer where it was coming in reverse. All the prayers devotees glorify from lotus feet to Lord's lotus face, but only Rudragit is the what Lord Shiva is glorifying from the lotus face to lotus feet. And the third part of the prayers is 54 to 59 verses about glory of Bhakti Yoga. How Lord Shiva explains how Bhakti Yoga is the topmost process. And then 60 to 66, relation between Lord and the material creation, like how from the Lord as an incarnation of the Lord, Garbhadaksha Vishnu comes, and then all the material creation comes out. And what is the relation between Lord and the creation? How Lord is aloof from all this matter. So all these things are explained in last part. So these are the 4 parts in Rudragit. So currently we are discussing the 51st verse. So 51st verse, we have seen the meaning how Shiva is glorifying the Lord's lower weight about yellow garments and the belt, and also he's explaining about nicely. It is so beautiful that you want to see again and again the lower part of the body, thighs, knees. So he was explaining that part. In that purport, I was just referring purport of Prabhupada, and I wrote few points which we can contemplate. So the first point is Prabhupada clearly mentioned in the purport about the very famous quote Prabhupada always refers, that Mahajano Ene Katha Supanta. He's explaining about the 12 Mahajanas, which Yamaraj explains to his servants during Ajamila pastime, and he was instructing them about the importance of uttering the holy name and devotees and whom we should follow. So there he quotes the verse of 12 Mahajanas, and Prabhupada always referred this verse. Here he referred because Shiva, Lord Shiva is Mahajan. So he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. He is a topmost Vaishnava. And Lord Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form. So Lord's form is so nice. See, he is explaining about from the face till, and he is explaining the Lord's form so nicely. So we should always follow the footsteps of Mahajanas. So Prabhupada was referring this verse. So it's referred in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila also, in the Mahabharata also it's referred this verse. How important is that? So I heard that in Mahabharata also they used to discuss, Pandavas they discuss, and they have this verse. So we should follow in the footsteps whenever they want to take any decision. We should always follow in the footsteps, because these Mahajanas are the people who leave dharma. They leave dharma and they talk dharma. So whatever they speak dharma. So and dharma is what they speak is dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So whatever Lord's instructions, they live by it and also they speak. So that's why we should follow them. And that's why Prabhupada stressed the point that Shiva is a Mahajan and Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form. And we should always follow the footsteps of them in glorifying the Lord's form. And following bhakti, also it's like we should always follow our seniors, our Vaishnavas and Acharyas. The same thing was also stressed in 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 15, 16 and 17 verses. I was referring these verses recently for our Bhakti Ruksha discussion. So it was so nice. I just wrote few points here from those verses. You can also refer back. These 3 verses, Krishna explains that how we should act, how we should not act in this material world, and whom we should follow. That is very important, because if you do any act in this material world, it will be bondage to us. So we know there are 3 types of karma: akarma, karma, and vikarma. So and we should follow akarma, which is there is no way of, which will not bind us to the material world, and it is devotional service, pure devotional service. So how we should do it? So a few points I was mentioning. I just here Lord Krishna gave this to Arjuna because people may be intelligent, but they'll not be able to they'll not be able to enter the path of devotional service, or they will not lead the life of akarma. What I'm saying, they'll get bewildered by this material world. So Krishna, out of his causes mercy, instructed Arjuna this knowledge so that we can learn from Arjuna and we should also follow it. So that's what he mentioned in the 15th verse. And then he told, yeah, we should follow Arjuna, and also we should follow in the parampara. So he told how to do it is, this point Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that to understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. This is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent person will be bewildered. So this one point was stuck to me, that Prabhupada mentioned this words chosen very nicely, that we should always learn from our seniors, acharyas in the parampara. So then we can easily practice the devotional service, and we can easily cross over this material world. So we can get out of this entanglement. Until unless we have guidance, we will do definitely mistakes. So that guidance is very important from the authorities in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, even the great intelligent persons, they will get bewildered because of their greed, pride, envy. So there will be so many anarthas which will drag them towards. They may be very intelligent, but still they'll get bewildered. So we should be very careful in taking the association of devotees, especially seniors, and take guidance from them, and we should learn the secret from them, how they are progressing in devotional life. So we should also learn from them. So that's a few points I mentioned. Yeah. Yeah, and by understanding that, yes, we should follow. Why we should follow? Also, Krishna explains there in 4th chapter, those verses, that we know we are eternal servant of Lord, and our main goal is to again go back home, back to Godhead, again engage in Lord's devotional service. As that is our goal, then we should be very serious in doing this process, right? So we should be serious in reviving the relationship. So for that, we need association of devotees, and we need their guidance. So we should be very serious in cultivating that process. And one more thing I heard, that when there are 12 Mahajanas, and Prabhupada was giving lecture, and he told about this point. One of the uh, devotees sitting in the class asked Prabhupada, told that Prabhupada, you are the 13th Mahajan. And Prabhupada told, no, you are 14th. So I was hearing Chaitanya Charan Prabhu lecture. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu said, why Prabhupada told like that is, not that there are only 12 Mahajans. Why not Ambarish Maharaj or Dhruv Maharaj? So Prabhupada said that because everyone has to become exemplary in following what is Lord's instructions in their life, and they should become Mahajanas. So they should also follow what Lord said. They should live exemplary devotional life, so that it will be set an example for others also. So that's what Prabhupada meant. So 13 Mahajan, when they told Prabhupada told you are 14 Mahajan. So we should take inspiration from everyone, and we should also progress in our life, so that we live exemplary devotional life. And yeah, as I mentioned, we should follow the footsteps of acharyas. So Prabhupada serve under the guidance to please all the other seniors. So I think first part of the purport, Prabhupada explained this about Mahajana and Gatha Sabanta. And second part, Prabhupada explained about impersonalism, because many people, they say they are followers of Lord Shiva and they follow impersonalism. So, and here you see contradictory. Lord Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form. Impersonalists say there is no form for Lord. But here Lord Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form, whom the impersonalists worship Lord Shiva. But yeah, Lord Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form so nicely here. So to understand that he is a Mahajan and is glorifying the Lord's form, so you should follow it. That is what he's telling, and we should not get deviated saying that what impersonalist is saying. So it's very clear and very nicely Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form here. So Lord's form is spiritual form. It's not like us having the material form, and it is like Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Sat full of eternity, Chit full of knowledge, Ananda full of bliss. So Lord's form is that. And even it was mentioned in Brahma Samhita also, like Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Satchit Ananda, Lord's form is mentioned by Brahma also. So we should be very careful in glorifying the Lord's form. We should not get deviated by the impersonalist philosophy. So even in we can see the past times in our Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, that it was condemned Mayavadi and impersonalist philosophy both. So and understanding of that, like it is also feature of the Lord, but not complete feature of the Lord. So Prabhupada also refers this verse again and again. So Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaneti iti Sabdyate. So Prabhupada refers this verse. So what is that is sunshine is spread all over the world, is all over, it's spread. It's like impersonal Brahmajyoti. Sun disk is compared to Paramatma, and sun god is compared to Bhagavan, feature of the Lord. Because You see, it's impersonal. Sunlight is also sun's energy, but it's not sun. Sun disk is also sun, but it is not sun. Sun God, Vivaswan, is the personal feature of the Lord. That is the understanding, topmost understanding. These are also understanding of the sun only, but it is not complete understanding. Similarly, impersonal Brahmajyoti is also uh, from the Lord's, coming from the Lord's body only. It's effulgence, but it's not complete. There is some more understanding. Like Lord's Paramatma present everywhere. That's also a bit more understanding. But much more understanding is Lord's presence as Bhagavan, Tripanga Shama Sundaram in the Goloka Vrindavanam is the topmost understanding of the Lord. So that's very, very important to understand, the understanding of the impersonal Brahmajyoti. And also, if you refer to Bhagavad Gita, especially 12th chapter, devotional service, there Arjuna asks the same question, which is best? So he asks, evam satatviktaye bhaktvastam paryupasate echa pakshar avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittama. He asks, which is the best? It is it impersonal Brahmajyoti or which is bhakti, which is the topmost? So Krishna clarifies next verse immediately that bhakti is the topmost. There is no doubt about it. And then further verses in 12th chapter, if you refer about really impersonalism, so Krishna tells that it's very, very difficult to practice. It's not very easy. You are in the path, but it takes so many lifetimes to reach, and it's very difficult. So the famous verse Prabhupada always refers is Klesho Adhikaras Tesham. So Avyakta Asakta Chitasam, Avyakta Hi Gatir Dukkam, Dehavabde Avapyate. So Klesho Adhika, Klesha Adhika, it will be more miseries in the path of impersonalism. So in the 12.5 verse, this verse Kleshodhikaras Tesham, Purport Prabhupada explains that why it is difficult, because we are actually embodied, we are actually conditioned where we see the personal form, and Lord is person. So and also it is like offense that saying that Lord doesn't have form, because Lord is having spiritual form, Lord doesn't have material form. So people, they commit offense saying that Lord doesn't have any form. And here we are actually easy for us to reciprocate with the Lord in the personal form. So especially in the purport explains that we are having the Archa Vigraha form, which is bona fide form, which is like we do Prana Pratishtha, all the Acharyas come and they do Prana Pratishtha and we worship the Lord. So in that form, we can do service to the Lord and we get purified. So that is very, very easy, and we can easily go to the topmost process, Bhakti Yoga. So it is compared to like post box analogy. Like if you see a post box, if you put a letter, we know that it's a genuine post box, it will reach to the government. So similarly, if you worship the deity here, definitely all the offerings or prayings will go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because it is like genuine post box. So Prabhupada explains this analogy so easy to understand, that we are offering our prayers or worship service to Lord, because Lord is merciful. He has accepted that Archavigraha form for all of us to worship, so that all our prayers will be received through in this way, and we can serve the Lord, we can decorate the Lord, we can clean the Lord, we can bathe the Lord, we can offer incense and everything, so that our whole senses and whole existence is purified. So in that way, it's very easy to practice, and we can easily advance in bhakti also. So that was the main point Prabhupada explained. So these verses are very nice in 12th chapter. We can refer to that, how bhakti is the topmost and very easiest process. And then maybe understanding the past time perspective. Also, you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, past time about Sarvam Bhattacharya. We all know how Sarvam Bhattacharya was Brihaspati himself, very learned in scriptures. He was like leading the whole thing in Jagannath Puri. Like he was leading all the sannyasis and giving lectures to many people about Vedanta Sutra and other things. But we all know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell faint in the Puri temple, and Sarvam Bhattacharya carried to his home. And then later, Sarvam Bhattacharya taking care of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his home. So Sarvam Bhattacharya want to tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about Vedanta Sutra, because he felt that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is young and is sannyasi, should read Vedanta Sutra to maintain it. So, but Sarvam Bhattacharya presentation is something impersonalistic way. It's like Prabhupada explains that sun is very clear, but clouds cover it. So the way of explanation is clouds covering the sun. So it's very difficult to understand. So the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know how he explained Vedanta Sutra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 7 days. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard it, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't respond for 7 days. Then he asked whether you understood everything or not, or you didn't understand anything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then started speaking, telling that, asked him to explain about Brahman, and then the discussion goes. So finally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks him to explain the Atmanama verse, and then he explains. Sarvam Bhattacharya explains, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains in multiple way, 18, more than I think 60 ways. I think explains it to Sarvam Bhattacharya. Then he understands that the way of explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very crystal clear, and he told him that your way of explanation is like that, covering the sun by a cloud. But see the way of explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality Godhead himself, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed this divine form, 4-hand form, 2-hand form, and also Shatbhuja Gauranga form, 6-hand form. So Sarvam Bhattacharya was very pleased, and then so the Sarvam Bhattacharya is hardcore dry logistic philosopher. Later he got transformed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy to a great devotee of Lord, and then he, how he honored the prasadam which was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even without taking bath, glorifying the prasadam of the Lord. So the personal feature of the prasadam of the Lord. So, and then furthermore there are so many pastimes, like how you can see the pastime where by the process of bhakti and association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how Sarvam Bhattacharya got transformed, and even Kumaras also got transformed by smelling the lotus at the feet of Lord, the fragrance of the lotus tulasi leaves at the lotus feet of the Lord. So I was concluding saying that even people who are impersonalists, they may there is a chance that they also get transformed to great devotees of the Lord. So few learnings that bhakti is personal. We know we should be very personal in taking care of deities, and it is the topmost process. As I mentioned, Arjuna's question also Krishna answered, and it's very personal process. And also you can see how Rudragita established it. Lord Shiva is establishing this process, how he is glorifying the Lord's form, and we should take care of those things. Very details, very important in doing the devotional services. And we should be very grateful to what we have received, so which is the topmost process. We know how difficult is impersonalists. If you ask us to do those things now, it's be very difficult. So we know what we got is the best and is topmost, which is very rare. It's like a diamond. So, and I know the pastime of this diamond. When I heard the diamond, I just recollect the pastime of touchstone, where we know how Lord Shiva, one of the devotee of Lord Shiva prayed him, and then Lord Shiva asked him, he wants the best in the world. So he told, you can go and meet Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami was in Vrindavan, and this person went and met Sanatana Goswami. So he told, I came to know that you have the best in the world. Can you give me? He told, it's there in the garbage, you can go and take. So he told, he just went there, searched in the garbage, he took the touchstone. So we touch it. If you touch anything with that, it will become gold. So he got that, and he took it, and he was happily going. While going, he was going, and he was thinking, I got this best in the world, but he said it is best. If it is best, why he put in that garbage? That was his question. So then immediately went back and asked, yes, Sanatana Goswami, you told that this is best, but then why you have put in the garbage? That means you have something more best than this. So then he told, yes, I have. Then I'll give you, because I'll give you when you throw this touchstone in the water and you come back. He did it and he came back. Then Sanatana Goswami initiated him by giving Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he told, this is the topmost. This is called Nama Chintamani. You just chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is the topmost. Nothing else in this world than this. So you'll get the love of God, Prema Bhakti, if you chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So we got that diamond, which is very difficult to achieve, and we should be very careful and very grateful to protect it. So that is one thing. And also we saw it is very personal. So deity worship is, you should be very careful, with full attention we should take care of deity worship, and it is Lord's mercy that he has came in that form to all of us, so which is very easy for us to serve and get purified. And then these last 2 points I was recollecting. Bhakti Maharaj, there is a glorification. So there is a glorification about Srila Prabhupada in one of the videos. So actually he glorified so nicely. I was just touched by it. He was telling that he already met so many gurus in it before getting initiated from Srila Prabhupada, and they have told him that Prabhupada, when he came to West, especially all the gurus, they started leaving because they understood that Prabhupada is the one who is going to preach unalloyed bhakti, and he's going to he's going to hit all the impersonalists and voidist philosophers. So with the philosophy of pure devotional service. So and that was told to him, Bhaktirsa Maharaj to him by other guru, some other guru. So and he was very mystic person, and he told to him. So you can also refer that video. It was amazing video. It really touches me that. And also it is linked to our Pranita Mantra of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada wrote that Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So Paschatya Desha, so in the Western countries, which is filled with all this Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi. So both impersonalists and voidists was completely eradicated by Srila Prabhupada. So that was the one glorification. So this was when I was going impersonalism, so I just thought that this is related to our Acharya Prabhupada, who delivered the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. And Bhakti Maharaj confirmed it in his video, saying that it's already predicted that he is going to come, and he's going to, when he comes, it will be taken care. So just want to mention that point. Let me go to the next verse now. We'll discuss the next verse, and we'll have some question answers at the end. Let me go to the next. We are 52 verse now. Padasharat padma palasharochisa nakatubirnontaragam vidunvata pradarshaya swayam apasta sadvasam padam guru marga gurustamojusam. I'll rightly go to the translation. My dear Lord, your two lotus feet are so beautiful that they appear like two blossoming petals of the lotus flower, which grows during the autumn season. Indeed, the nails of your lotus feet emanate such a great effulgence that they immediately dissipate all the darkness in the heart of a conditioned soul. My dear Lord, kindly show me that form of yours, which always dissipate all kinds of darkness in the heart of a devotee. My dear Lord, you are the supreme spiritual master of everyone. Therefore, all conditioned souls covered with the darkness of ignorance can be enlightened by you as a spiritual master. Purport is a bit big, but it's very nice. So there are 4 main topics. I'll just go through it. Lord Shiva has thus described the bodily features of the Lord authoritatively. Now he wants to see the lotus feet of the Lord. When a devotee wants to see the transcendental form of the Lord, he begins his meditation on the Lord's body by first looking at the feet of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the transcendental form of the Lord, and the 12 cantos are divided in accordance with the transcendental form of the Lord. The first and second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are called the two lotus feet of the Lord. It is therefore suggested by Lord Shiva that one should first try to see the lotus feet of the Lord. This also means that if one is serious about reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he must begin by seriously studying the first and second cantos. Strong point. The beauty of the lotus feet of the Lord is compared to the petals of a lotus flower which grows in the autumn season. By nature's law, in the autumn, the dirty or muddy waters of the rivers and lakes become very clean. At that time, the lotus flowers growing in the lakes appear very bright and beautiful. The lotus flower itself is compared to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the petals are compared to the nails of the feet of the Lord. The nails of the feet of the Lord are very bright, as Brahma Samhita testifies. Ananda Chinmaya Sadajvala Vigrahasya. Every limb of the transcendental body of the Lord is made of Ananda Chinmaya Sadajvala. Thus, every limb is eternally bright. As sunshine dissipates the darkness of the material world, the effulgence emanating from the body of the Lord immediately dries up darkness in the heart of the conditioned soul. In other words, everyone serious about understanding the transcendental science and seeing the transcendental form of the Lord must first of all attempt to see the lotus feet of the Lord by studying the first and second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. When one sees the lotus feet of the Lord, all kinds of doubts and fears within the heart are vanquished. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that in order to make spiritual progress, one must become fearless. Abhayam Sattva Samsuddhi, Bhagavad Gita 16.1. Fearfulness is the result of material involvement. It is also said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhayam Dvitiyabhiniveshat Syat. Fearfulness is the creation of the bodily conception of life. As long as one is observed in the thought that he is this material body, he is fearful. And as soon as one is free from this material conception, he becomes Brahmabhuta or self-realized and immediately becomes fearless. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma, Bhagavad Gita 18.54. Without being fearless, one cannot be joyful. The bhaktas, devotees are fearless and always joyful because they're constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. It is also said, Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Bhagavatam 1 to 20. By practicing Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, one becomes fearless and joyful. Unless one becomes fearless and joyful, he cannot understand the science of God. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. This verse refers to those who completely liberated from the fearfulness of this material world. When one is so liberated, he can really understand the transcendental features of the form of the Lord. Lord Shiva therefore advises everyone to practice Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. As will be clear in the following verses, by doing so one can be liberated, one can become liberated, really liberated, and enjoy spiritual bliss. It is also stated, Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshut Militam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. The Lord is the supreme spiritual master and the bona fide representative of the supreme Lord. He is also spiritual master. He is also a spiritual master. The Lord from within enlightens the devotees by effulgence of the nails of the lotus feet, and is representative, the spiritual master, enlightens from without. Only by thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord and always taking the spiritual master's advice can one advance in spiritual life and understand Vedic knowledge. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tatha guru tasyaite katita hyartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Thus the Vedas, Svetaswara Upanishad, enjoin that for one who has unflinching faith in the lotus feet of the Lord as well as the spiritual master, the real import of Vedic knowledge can be revealed. This is the verse. Yes, sorry with length purport, but there are so many points. Prabhupada, one line Prabhupada explained in detail in the purport. We'll just see the translation. 1 second. Sorry for the inconvenience. So Pada Sharat Padma Palasa Rochisa. So Pada lotus feet. Actually, Sharat means autumn season. So the lotus feet of the Lord are compared to Padma, lotus, and Palasa Rochisa, the leaves, the petals. So the nails are compared to petals. So that was very nice explained. Nakat Jubir, and that nails are like illuminating. So effulgence coming out of it, which will Antarangam Vidunvata, which will cleanse all the that are anarthas in the heart of the conditioned soul. And Pradarshaya Swiyam Apasta Sadvasam. So Pradarshaya. So Pradarshaya means just, oh Lord, please show me that. Swiyam Apasta Sadvasam. So show me that lotus feet and lotus nails, which will destroy that in my heart, which is accumulated. And Padam Guru Marga Guru Tamojusam. So Guru Marga. So Guru Tamojusam. So it's mentioned here. Lord is glorified by Lord Shiva. Supreme Personality Godhead is glorified by Lord Shiva as supreme spiritual master, who will help us to come out of this ignorance. So as we recite the verse, Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Litamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Prabhupada mentioned that verse because a supreme spiritual master, Lord resides in our heart and guides us from within. And Prabhupada tells at the end in the purport, from without, spiritual master guides us. So Prabhupada referred that also at the end. So Shiva is glorifying as Lord, a supreme spiritual master, who will help us to come out of this. So this is very easy to understand. So Lord's lotus feet is compared to lotus flower. Petals are compared to nails, lotus nails, and from them comes the effulgence, which will destroy the anarthas and conditioned souls. And please give me that darshan, so of that lotus feet. And you are spiritual supreme master who will help us to come out of this ignorance. So that is the meaning. We'll just see. I have taken few points from the purport and also with elaborated so that we can understand it deeper. Very important points. I think the whole purport divided into 4 divisions. Purport is division like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like first division is mentioned about especially lotus feet. When you just consider lotus feet, Prabhupada clearly mentioned that first 2 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are compared to Lord's lotus feet as the representation, and all the 10 cantos representing the Lord's form. Like first two cantos, Lord's feet, lotus feet, and third and fourth are his thighs. Fifth canto is navel. Sixth canto is chest. Seventh and eighth cantos are his arms. Ninth canto is throat. 10th canto is beautiful lotus face. 11th canto is his forehead, and 12th canto is head. So this is mentioned in Padma Puran also, that about this explanation of the representation of Srimad Bhagavatam as Lord's form. And Prabhupada mentioned that we should understand Lord's lotus feet. Means you should take shelter of lotus feet. I should understand Lord's lotus feet means should read Srimad Bhagavatam first two cantos thoroughly. Should read those two cantos thoroughly, systematically from first canto. Should not jump here and there to cantos. Prabhupada mentioned also earlier in the Bhagavatam that we should read systematically. And these two cantos will help us understand what really mean the lotus feet of Lord taking shelter. So just to give a glimpse, so I was taking reference from other Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's slide, I think. This gives the summary of first two cantos. I'll just read it. So the first two cantos are referred to lotus feet. They form a perfect prelude to the rest of Bhagavatam by introducing the reader to its key philosophical concepts and prominent characters. They also establish the Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Bhakti Yoga as the topmost spiritual path. Then we can see this in the first few verses, how Bhagavatam is, as Amala Puranam is established. In the first canto, Sutta Goswami describes to the Naimisharanya sages the history of Bhagavatam, Parishit Maharaj and Sutta Goswami, the birth and the activities of Parishit Maharaj, who even chastised Kali, and the exclusive dependence of devotees like Uttara, Pandavas, Kunti, and Bhishma on Lord Krishna, and Bhaktavatsala Krishna's reciprocation with all of them. So, and in second canto, Sukadeva Goswami describes the supremacy of Krishna Bhakti while presenting various other processes on the Vedic landscape, like demigod worship, meditation on universal form, Virat Rupa, and super soul, Paramatma, as a part of Ashtanga Yoga. And he also explains Chatushloki Bhagavatam, the 4 verses of Bhagavatam, and then finally gives the definitions of the 10 topics of Bhagavatam, Sarga, Visarga, and all the 10 topics. So these are the glimpse of two cantos. So even I read through cantos while reading for the process, but really I also didn't understand in depth. I need to read again, as we always tell we should take shelter of lotus feet. That means at least representation of Lord Lotus feet is 2 cantos. Prabhupada mentioned very clearly that we should read it, all the 2 cantos systematically and understand what exactly meaning of this and imbibe in our real life. That is important. So that's what I mentioned at the first point. You should be serious in reading Srimad Bhagavatam systematically. And one more thing is when you take darshan of the Lord, you should always see from the Lord's lotus feet and then slowly go up. So then waist, and then you should go above the Lord hands, and then Lord's lotus face. So as a personal experience, I also, before not knowing this, how to take darshan of the Lord, I heard from one of the devotee that we should see always Lord from the lotus feet. Long back, some maybe 10 years back, I'm saying. In Mayapur, when I took the darshan, it really a different experience. Till that point of time, I never know how to see the darshan of the Lord. I was just seeing face or somewhere here and there. But later when I saw Tirubanga Shyamasundram seeing first lotus face, lotus feet, and then first bend, and then next bend at the hip, and then hands, and then we can see the lotus face of the Lord. That really praying from the lotus feet to lotus face is very nice. We can take darshan of the Lord like that. And then one more I heard from lectures that Lord in Tirupati, darshan of the Lord, you see Lord will be like this, I think. So like this. So like this it will be there. One hand is showing, left hand is showing the right hand, and it's called Abhay Hasta. And this hand will be like this. It will be showing this hand, and this hand is pointing to the lotus feet of the Lord. That means, please take shelter of me. Please shelter my lotus feet of the Lord. So that's what I heard, that when you take darshan, we can meditate on it. That we should always focus on lotus feet of the Lord, and should take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So that will give us abhaya also. So which will become fearlessness. So that is one point I want to make. Yeah. So these are the few analogies we can understand from the verse. Like the Prabhupada mentioned the first topic, and then moving to the understanding more in deeper of the lotus flower, which comes in the autumn season in that lake. The flower is compared to lotus feet of the Lord, and petals are compared to nails of the Lord, and from them comes that effulgence, so which will destroy all the ignorance, like how sun destroys the darkness. So the effulgence of the Lord's nail, so that will very bright, that it can destroy the ignorance in our heart. So Prabhupada referred the verse Ananda Chinmaya Satajwala Vigrahasya in Brahma Samhita. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. So in that verse, this line comes where every part is equivalent and it's self-effulgent. So Lord body is like that. So it will dissipate all the darkness. So that's one thing. Yeah, that one point I want to mention. And this analogy will help us understand what Lord Shiva is glorifying the Lord's lotus feet. And then furthermore, I was remembering few related pastimes of nail when a lotus feet and lotus nails. I heard feet when I just read the purport and read the translation of feet. I just remembered the Kunti prayers that she prays Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, Namo Pankaja Maline, Namo Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangriye. She tells glorifies everything to lotus. So Lord's everything is so beautiful. So she compares everything: Lord's navel, Lord's garland, lotus garland, Lord's feet, so Lord's eyes. So everything is so beautiful. And I was just contemplating why lotus, because we see everywhere now Padma is lotus mentioned. So why it was lotus? Because I was hearing one of the lecture long back. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Lotus, because if you see the whole creation, from Garbhodaksha Vishnu, first lotus comes, and then on the lotus Lord Brahma sits. So before Brahma, the first thing which comes out of Lord's navel is lotus. So the lotus, from the lotus Lord sits. So lotus is touching with the Lord, which is spiritual. So it's not material something. So the lotus flower is compared, because everything lotus is material world, but the lotus which came out from the Lord's navel is touching the Lord. So and it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Also it is spiritual, which is before the Brahma's creation. So that's what I heard. That maybe you can correct me. That's the I heard. That's why it's comparing, and also very beautiful. You can see the lotus flower is also very beautiful, and it is also spiritual. And when I heard about nails, I was recollecting our Narsimharthi every day we sing. So we know that how on the stone-like chest of Hiranyakashipu, Narsimhadev kept his nails, so beautiful nails, to kill him. And we sing this Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshava Drita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. So in this also you see how like how the small insect can be killed between the two fingernails. So like that, Lord's fingernails ripped apart the Hiranyakashipu's body. Similarly, all the other, we can pray to Lord that Lord's lotus nails and Lord's lotus feet, that all the anarthas in our heart can be destroyed like that, and we can follow the instructions given by our seniors, and we can advance in our devotional life. That's one thing I was meditating on this lotus feet, because we always say Lord's lotus feet, we have to take shelter. So these two we sing every day, we can remember these verses and we can pray for it. Yeah, and then Prabhupada explains further about 8:50 now. Maybe I'll take some few more minutes, Prabhuji. I'll just complete. So Prabhupada further explains about fearlessness concept. So because you can read this like fearfulness comes because of bodily conception of life, and bhaktas are fearless because they constantly engage in Lord's service. So that's one point Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. So I was contemplating on fearfulness, because all of us are we have fear. And also Bhagavata explains Vitaraga Bhayat Krodha. So attachment, fear and angry, very dangerous, and we should come out of this. Especially fear, how to come out of it. I recently discussed with our Sankarshan Prabhu, Bangalore. So we were discussing, and he gave one lecture on Vitaraga Bhayat Krodha, and he was referring this verse. I was just contemplating on this verse, which is very relevant for us as sadhakas, that Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Chetab Abhayam. So Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Smartavya. So three things we have to do to become fearless. So that is glorification of the Lord. Shrotavya, should hear very carefully. Kirtitavya, you should always glorify the Lord, chant the holy names of Lord. Smartavya, always remember the Lord. So all the Mahajanas you see, they have done this. So we should do these activities, constantly engage in these activities. We will be free from the miseries and we will be fearless. So this brings freedom from all sorts of fear. So this one thing I was remembering about this verse. So we can remember this. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma. So Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Smartavya. So three things we can remember. Yeah. So then, yeah, last point as mentioned, that Prabhupada mentioned that Guru, Supreme Spiritual Master. Shiva is glorifying Lord as Supreme Spiritual Master. So Prabhupada mentioned Lord is spiritual master from within, but our spiritual master is without. So both of us are guiding. So Prabhupada mentioning the spiritual master without also, and how Prabhupada, you can see in his life, he is also following instructions of spiritual master very as his life and soul. So that's why we can see how Prabhupada took it very serious and went to West and preached it. So similarly, we should also take we know how much we can hear from within, depends on our purity. But without, there are so many instructions given by seniors. Even for myself, they're getting we get instructions to serve, but we should take it very seriously. So I'll pray that we all of us take instructions seriously and we should progress in devotional life and we serve Prabhupada and all acharyas in the parampara. So by that way, we serve them, and as mentioned, Yata Deve Tata Guru. So Yata Deve Para. So in that verse, it mentioned by glorifying them, by serving them, the whole of Vedic knowledge is revealed to us. We can advance the spiritual life by serving them. So that's the last point in the purport. And I just try to recap, maybe 1 minute, I'll try to recap. So we discussed the context where we are and what we're discussing about the 4 parts of Rudra Gita. And then we saw the first verse, 51st verse, explaining about Lord Shiva glorifying the lower part of the body. So waist and the garments and the belt and the thighs and the lower part, how beautiful it is to see. And then Prabhupada mentioned about the Shiva mentioning the form of the Lord. Then all the impersonalists who following Shiva, please, you understand that Shiva is glorifying the Lord's form. So we should always see that the Lord's form is so glorious, so beautiful, and Bhakti is the topmost. Lord Krishna also explained it. And to understand Bhakti, we need devotees association. We should learn secret from them how they are advancing, and we should also advance in Bhakti. And next verse we saw about lotus feet of the Lord was glorified by Lord Shiva, and lotus nails, and their effulgence, you can destroy us all the anarthas. And he is supreme guru guiding us, and as a supreme guru, and spiritual master guides us from without, and should take the instructions seriously, and should read systematically Bhagavatam from first canto, second canto seriously. And to become fearlessness, we should always remember these 3 things: Shrotavya, Kirtitavyasya, Smartavya, and should take the instructions seriously, and we should follow them. So sorry for taking more time, but please forgive me any mistakes, sir. I went very fast as usual. So I'd like to stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat pranams. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji, for the really very wonderful class, and it did not take more time anyway. It is 8:55, so I mean we finished within time. And like you have mentioned, like the very important things, like how to take the shelter of Lotus feet of Lord, Supreme Lord, and how to serve Guru and Krishna. It was really wonderful, Prabhuji, like the way you explained, like about the lotus feet and lotus nails. So different references are given. It was really good, Prabhuji, as usual. And devotees lines are unmuted, so they can unmute and ask comments or any questions. Hare Krishna, devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it was a wonderful class, Prabhuji. So nicely explained, and even the shlokas what you quoted and what Prabhupada is told are really amazing, Prabhuji. And you heard so many lectures to tell here. Really, we are so blessed. So that we are no need of going for so many scriptures and many lectures need not here. This class is enough, I think. So, but just for the beginners like me to understand. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Madhu. All good.
And I mean this regarding hearing, chanting, like kirtanam, kirtatavesya, srotavesya, and smaranam. Even before coming to Krishna consciousness, I had experience, Prabhuji, like where when I joined NIT Warangal. So at that time, like many people like feared me a lot about ragging.
Yeah.
So first day when I entered that mess, so I was hearing the song of Namo Venkateshaya. Then I mean at that time, like now our Kula Guru is Lord Balaji. So at that time I remembered when Balaji is there, then why to fear of all this like ragging all these things. It was like even before Krishna consciousness, probably. I mean it was really helpful, probably.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu. That's real experience. Even we can feel in our life, our real life, even myself also. There will be so many anxieties. The Prabhupada explains a small bird eating if you throw grains, bird will be eating the grains. It will see like this, and it will eat. So similarly, we will be having a lot of anxieties in our life. It's like superficial level, but by practicing devotional life, it's all byproducts. All these things will come up. Fearlessness. So anxieties will be gone. So if you practice sincerely, I could see many devotees were practicing, and they really easily overcome it. So even my life also, I could see little bit I could able to, but I should practice more and sincere. But thank you so much, Roji, for sharing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You're really sincere, dear Prabhuji.
Right.
Any other devotees wants to say anything? I think everybody